Hello and welcome. You're watching the news tonight. I'm Ishan Russell and these are the headlines that we're tracking right now. Voting for the sixth and final phase of assembly elections ends in West Bengal. Fate of 25 seats, including 16 in East Midnapur and 9 in Cooch Behar district sealed. The Congress mounts pressure on the government for a discussion on the Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation scam. Opposition claims government shying away from discussing CAG report on the KG Basin gas project. Politics over drought in the Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh. The Uttar Pradesh government turns down the centre's offer to send a water train to affected districts, claims there is no water shortage. And the Bangladesh Supreme Court rejects final petition of top leader of Jamaat-e-Islami, Motiur Rahman Nizami, clears the way for his execution. Our top story this evening, voting for the sixth and final phase of the West Bengal Assembly elections came to an end a short while ago. Voting began at 7 a.m. under tight security. In this phase, 25 seats, including 16 in East Midnapur and 9 in Cooch Behar districts, went to the polls. Let's take a look at how West Bengal voted today.
Polling for the sixth and final phase of assembly elections in West Bengal began at 7 a.m. amid tight security in East Midnapur and Cooch Behar districts. 25 of the state's total 294 constituencies went to polls in this phase. An electorate of over 58 lakhs were eligible to exercise their franchise in 6,774 polling booths to decide the fate of 170 candidates. The poll panel deployed 361 companies of central forces assisted by a contingent of 12,000 state police personnel in both the districts. Prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the Criminal Penal Code were promulgated on the polling day and enforced strictly. In spite of the heavy security deployment, there were incidents of violence.
না ভালোই দেখলাম তো নিরাপত্তা ভালোই আছে মানে কোনো অসুবিধা দেখলাম না সবাই তো শান্তিপূর্ণভাবেই ভোটটা দিলাম
In the 51 erstwhile enclaves in Cooch Behar, over 9,000 enthusiastic voters, including 3 centenarians, voted for the first time since the country's independence. It was a historic day for these first-time voters. It marks another leap in their absorption into India after nearly 7 decades of stateless existence. The enclaves were swapped with Bangladesh after the land boundary agreement was implemented last year.
नया सरकार आए उसमें कुछ डेवलप्ड होए लेकिन अभी जो सरकार है अभी कुछ नहीं काम कर रहे हम लोगों का
सब देशवासी के सुविधा देखना रास्ता घाट स्कूल कॉलेज ठीक से पढ़ाई होगा
ये ज्यादा औरतों पर जुल्म होता है ना हम कैसे सहते हैं ऐसे हम पर नेता पर देखना चाहिए
In the sixth phase, a total of 170 candidates were in the fray, of whom 18 are female candidates. They contested for the 25 seats at stake. The BJP and TMC fielded 25 candidates each to contest in all the seats. The left contested in 17 seats, the Congress 4, BSP 8, and there are 24 independents and 67 others in the fray. With this, the month-long voting process has come to an end in West Bengal. The focus now shifts to the southern states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, where voting will take place on the 16th of this month. Counting of votes for all the states, including West Bengal and Assam, will take place on May 19th.
This West Bengal election will be memorable in many ways, whether it be a case of heavy paramilitary deployment or open criticism of Election Commission by any chief minister. This election also witnessed unprecedented alliance of 2 different pools, such as Congress and left. In East Midnapur, with cameraman Narayan, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, a day after the discussion on the Augusta Westland VVIP chopper scam, the Congress mounted pressure on the government for a discussion on the alleged Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation scam. The opposition alleged that the government was shying away from discussing the CAG report, pointing out anomalies in the Gujarat government's role in the KG Basin gas project.
The CAG report questioning Gujarat government's investment into the Krishna Godavari Basin gas block resonated once again in Rajya Sabha on Thursday. Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad and Congress leader Jairam Ramesh asserted that oil and gas exploration is a national issue and irregularities pointed out by the CAG must be discussed in the House.
When is the House going to take up the 20,000 crore rupee GSPC KG Basin scam? I want to know, because I've given a notice 1 week ago. It's a CAG report, the same CAG report which was quoted yesterday. You allowed a debate on the Augusta issue.
It is committed to have a discussion, so I would urge upon the chair, I would request the chair that at the earliest this should be discussed.
The government, however, asserted that CAG reports on state accounts are examined by public accounts committees of assemblies and there was no convention to discuss those in parliament.
जो इशू जो है वो राज्यों की विधानसभाओं की पीएसी जो है वो उसका परीक्षण करती है, उसको एग्जामिन करती है, उसके बारे में हम जो है वो लोकसभा या राज्यसभा में चर्चा नहीं करें, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जो संविधान में बहुत स्पष्ट है, संविधान का आर्टिकल 151, द रिपोर्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्रोलर एंड ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया रिलेटिंग टू द अकाउंट्स ऑफ द यूनियन शैल बी सबमिटेड टू द प्रेसिडेंट, who shall cause them to laid before the each house of the parliament. Second, the report of the controller and auditor general of the India relating to the accounts of the state shall be submitted to the governor of the state, and who shall cause them to laid before the legislative assembly.
Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian tried to broker a truce and said that Congress's notice seeking discussion on the issue was under examination of the chairman.
It is said in the House by the government that if the honorable chairman takes a decision, they will agree by that. That's it. And you have raised it. I will convey your feeling to honorable chairman. Honorable chairman, I will convey today itself.
The Comptroller and Auditor General had rapped the Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation and said that investment of 19,576 crore rupees in the Krishna Godavari block project remains shrouded in uncertainty. The report was tabled before the Gujarat Assembly on the 31st of March 2016. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The government today rejected demands for a rollback of 1% excise duty on non-silver jewellery. During the discussion on the Finance Bill 2016, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the government has set up a committee under former Chief Economic Advisor Ashok Lahiri to look into the demands of agitating jewellers.
The government will not roll back the 1% excise duty on non-silver jewellery, including gold. During his reply on the Finance Bill 2016, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said tax will have to be paid, but the government will ensure that there is no harassment of jewellers. The government has set up a committee under former Chief Economic Advisor Ashok Lahiri to look into the demand of agitating jewellers. Earlier, the demand for rollback came not just from the agitating jewellers, but also from alliance partners of the NDA as well as opposition parties.
जो उनकी वैट की रिटर्न होगी उसी क्वांटम पे उनको 1% देना पड़ेगा. कोई फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन इंस्पेक्शन नहीं होगा. इसमें गाइडलाइन स्पष्ट रूप से दिए जा चुके हैं और इसको और सरल करने के लिए हम लोगों ने एक डॉक्टर अशोक लहरी जो चीफ इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर थे पहले सरकार के, उनकी अध्यक्षता में एक कमेटी बनाई है. ट्रेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स भी हैं और जो भी इसको इन्फोर्स करना और सरल करने के लिए उनके सुझाव होंगे उसके ऊपर हम विचार करेंगे. टैक्सेशन तो देना पड़ेगा, लेकिन हैरेसमेंट हो किसी का उस बहाने, इसको हम स्वीकार नहीं करेंगे.
Addressing the bad loan situation, Jaitley said the non-performing assets of banks is an issue of concern. He also asserted that separate investigation will be carried out for the loans given through wrong procedure.
ये एनपीए की स्थिति को हम लोग एड्रेस कर रहे हैं और आने वाले महीनों में जो प्रोविजनिंग करके एनपीए कागज पर बड़े दिखते हैं, धीरे धीरे फिर वो जब पूरे, एक तो सरकार की नीति है, आरबीआई की ने भी ये नीति बनाई कि एनपीए छुपाने से एनपीए की समस्या का हल नहीं होगा. ईमानदारी से वो बैलेंस शीट में रिफ्लेक्टेड हो और फिर उस समस्या को हल करने का प्रयास करें, कैपिटलाइजेशन करके, बैंक्स को प्रोफेशनलाइज करके, और जो सेक्टोरल तकलीफ है उनका एक प्रकार से हल ढूंढने से.
Jaitley also assured the House that tax notices have been sent to all those named in the Panama paper leak. After his reply, the Finance Bill 2016 was passed in Lok Sabha.
Those in favor में से आए, those against में से no.
Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, politics is threatening to increase the suffering of the people of Bundelkhand region in Uttar Pradesh. The state government has turned down the centre's offer to send a water train to the droughted districts in the region. The Akhilesh Yadav government wrote a letter to the Railway Ministry saying that the state has no water shortage and if we need water, they will inform the railways about it.
A water train sent by the centre to drought-hit Bundelkhand region in Uttar Pradesh has been turned down by the state government. The train with 10 wagons of water reached Jhansi on Thursday, intending to reach Bundelkhand's Mahoba on Friday morning. But the UP government refused to let the train enter the region.
पानी का हमने प्रबंध किया है और जब पानी की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, तब पानी हम मांग लेंगे, लेकिन अभी उनके पानी की ज़रूरत नहीं है.
Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav wrote a letter to the Railway Ministry saying that UP is not facing a Latur-like water shortage. The UP government also claims the state administration has made inadequate arrangements to meet the water demands of the Bundelkhand region.
पीने के पानी की सबसे ज्यादा हमने उसमें ध्यान दिया. धनराशि सब तक जगह पहुंच चुकी है. टैंकर से पानी जहां उपलब्ध होना है, टैंकर खरीद लिए गए हैं. टैंकर से पानी पहुंचाया जा रहा है. तालाब भरे जा रहे हैं. जहां जहां तालाब नहीं भरे गए, वहां जिलाधिकारी को निर्देश दिए गए कि प्रत्येक गांव में कम से कम एक तालाब को जरूर भरा जाना सुनिश्चित किया जाना चाहिए.
The issue turned political, with the ruling Samajwadi Party calling it a desperate attempt by the BJP to snatch credit from Akhilesh Yadav's government.
उत्तर प्रदेश को लातूर न बनाए. उत्तर प्रदेश लातूर नहीं, हमारे यहाँ पीने के पानी की कमी नहीं है और कमी होगी तो हम खुद केंद्र सरकार से मांग लेंगे. लेकिन जानबूझ के केंद्र सरकार सिर्फ पानी भेज के अगर ये दिखाना चाहती कि हम बुंदेलखंड के लोगों के दुख में खड़े हैं तो उन्हें भोजन, कपड़ा, दवाई आदि सब भेज दें तो मैं समझूंगा केंद्र सरकार को मदद.
Other parties too jumped into the debate, mostly with an eye on assembly elections next year.
जब गरीब लोगों की जरूरत की बात आई तो आपने उस पर लौटाने की नाम की राजनीति कर दी. कल पूरे बुंदेलखंड के सांसद बैठे थे नीति आयोग में और उसमें पीने के पानी के संकट की ही सांसदों ने बात उठाई है कि तुरंत पीने के पानी का संकट है, इसका निदान करिए. पूरे बुंदेलखंड के सांसद कह रहे हैं कि पीने के पानी का संकट है और अखिलेश यादव की सरकार ऐसे समय पर उन ट्रेनों को वापस जाने के लिए कह रही है. ये बहुत शर्मनाक बात है.
मेरा मानना है कि पानी को लेकर किसी तरह की राजनीति नहीं होनी चाहिए. बुंदेलखंड के लोगों के लिए अगर पानी गया है, किसी ने भी भेजा हो, सरकार अगर केंद्र ने भेजा है तो उसका स्वागत करना चाहिए क्योंकि पानी जो है वो वहाँ के जनता की जो जरूरत है उसके लिए गया है.
You see, the Uttar Pradesh government is both deaf and dumb. They are not able to listen to the woes and pains of the people who are suffering from hunger. The entire UP, over 50 districts are under drought, serious drought. And even after this, the UP Chief Minister is not moved. It only proves that he is having no concern for the people of UP.
The political blame game aside, Bundelkhand is facing severe shortage of water. Several farmers have committed suicide in the region and around 40 villages in Mahoba are facing acute water shortage.
बहुत ज़्यादा समस्या है पानी की. लोग जो है रात दिन पानी के लिए घूम रहे हैं, बाल्टी लिए. टैंकर आता है, कभी नहीं आता है. नल आते हैं, नहीं आते हैं. आदमी दूर दूर से पानी ला रहा है.
हमारे यहाँ के सारे नागरिक जो है महोबा के, वो प्यासों के मारे बूंद बूंद के लिए तरस रहे हैं. और अगर ऐसे में जो है सरकार पानी की ट्रेन पहुँचाती है तो हम लोग के लिए ये जीवन दान होगा और हम लोग के लिए इससे बड़ी राहत मिलेगी.
Akhilesh Yadav is likely to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi on May 7 to discuss the drought situation in the state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, staying with the drought situation across the country, a land known for the brave exploits of its warriors is today helpless against a persistent drought and water crisis. The Bundelkhand region is facing an abysmal situation and in sore need of government stimulus. Watch this Rajya Sabha TV special report.
The land of the proud Bundelas has become the epicenter of drought in the country. A region that has no less than 7 rivers and many dams and ponds is surviving today on water tankers. Getting a full bucket or two is the biggest bonus anyone can hope for. Villagers and farmers are already in a bad state. But what has come as the final straw are huge electricity bills. Till February this year, on average, Mahoba district to pay a total electricity bill of 6 crore rupees each month. But this March, 10 crore rupees.
एक मजदूर है, भट्टा मजदूर, उसका लाखों में बिल है. छोटे छोटे काम करने वाले लोग हैं, उनके लाखों में बिल भेज दिए गए और उनकी लाइट काटी जा रही है.
Almost the entire crop is destroyed. Farmers and the laborers are on the verge of starvation. The Bundela Society has started a food bank. On the Chhatarpur-Mahoba border, the Urmil River reveals the true picture of the drought. The water crisis is driving people away from villages, even as the heavy stone crushers keep wasting away water in Kabrai town. There is no fodder for the cattle. The administration steps to help are far too few to make any difference.
हमने उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को भी कई बार लिखित दिया, ज्ञापन दिया कि यहाँ साहब हालत ठीक नहीं है और यहाँ कुछ मदद करिए। तो उन्होंने राहत वाली बात की कि राहत सामग्री दे रहे हैं। राहत सामग्री 4-10% मिल रही है, बाकी 50-100% नहीं मिल पा रही है। उससे काम चलने वाला नहीं है।
Mahoba's beetle leaf cultivators are already facing a huge crisis. So are the residents of Charkhari, Kharela and Kabrai towns. 75 tankers are trying to quench the thirst of the residents. All eyes are on the administration and the steps it needs to take. From Mahoba in Uttar Pradesh, Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the Union government has decided to act against any person or institution depicting an incorrect map of India. According to a new law being considered by the government, any online or physical representation of Pakistani-occupied Kashmir or Arunachal Pradesh as not part of India could lead to a jail term of 7 years along with a fine of up to 1 crore rupees. According to the draft known as the Geospatial Information Regulation Bill 2016, no person shall acquire geospatial imagery or data, including value addition of any part of India, either through any space or aerial platforms such as satellite, aircraft, airships, balloons, unmanned aerial vehicles or terrestrial vehicles, or any other means whatsoever without general or special permission of the Security Vetting Authority. Similarly, no one is allowed to disseminate or allow visualization of any geospatial information either through internet platforms or online services. The bill also prohibits the publication or distribution of any such information in electronic or physical form. The bill could mean that online platforms such as Google will have to apply for a license to run Google Maps or Google Earth in India. However, the Act will not apply to the Indian government bodies. Now, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar today reviewed the security situation in the country along with top officials of the security establishment. A high-level meeting was held at the MHA office where National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Army Chief General Dalbir Singh Sohag and Intelligence Bureau Director Dineshwar Sharma gave their inputs on ways to increase security in sensitive places. Special emphasis was laid on the security situation in the hinterland and border areas, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, which recently saw unrest after the death of 4 people in security firing. The meet chaired by Home Minister Rajnath Singh went on for nearly an hour. Some more national news updates now nationwide. Vice Admiral Sunil Lamba will take over as Navy Chief on the 31st of May following Admiral R.K. Dhawan's retirement. Sunil Lamba, who is currently heading the Western Command, has a vast operational and staff experience over a career spanning more than 3 decades. He has also served as navigating officer of INS Sindhudurg. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has asked Delhi University to make Prime Minister Narendra Modi's degree public. Kejriwal has alleged that images of Prime Minister Modi's degrees published by some newspapers were forged. Treating his demand as an RTI inquiry, the Central Information Commission had last week directed the Delhi University and Gujarat University to search and provide information on the Prime Minister's degrees. A special court on Thursday convicted and sentenced to life in jail all 4 men accused of the 2011 Amboli murder of Keenan Santos and Ruben Fernandez. Keenan Santos and Ruben Fernandez were killed in Andheri in Mumbai while trying to save their women friends from harassment. Several others who were arrested and charged with rioting were released on bail. At least 17 people were killed and over 45 others injured after a bus fell off a bridge in Chhattisgarh. Police said the fatal accident took place on the Balrampur-Ambikapur National Highway after the driver of the speeding bus drove the vehicle off the small bridge in a bid to avoid a head-on collision with 2 bikers. Around a dozen passengers, including the 2 bikers, died on the spot. Time for a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Create opportunities for the students to get absorbed in engineering jobs. And if you have to do that, then you have to do really high quality engineering in the country. Autonomy of the engineering institutes, these must be taken as completely sacrosanct aspects. Let the educators handle themselves.
Watch Eureka with Professor Santosh Kapudia, Director, Structural Engineering Research Center at Chennai, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Time for some international news now. And the Bangladesh Supreme Court has rejected the final plea to review the death sentence of Motiur Rahman Nizami. The top leader of Bangladesh's fundamentalist Jamaat-e-Islami had filed a plea to review his death sentence over war crimes during the 1971 liberation war with Pakistan. The 73-year-old Jamaat chief is being kept in a special cell reserved for death row convicts at the Kashimpur Central Jail. He's been in jail since 2010 after being charged with war crimes by the tribunal set up by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. After the verdict, Nizami's party called him a victim of state-sponsored conspiracy and also called a day-long nationwide strike on the 8th of May. Jamaat-e-Islami chief can now only seek presidential mercy. Jamaat opposed Bangladesh's 1971 independence from Pakistan and sided with Pakistani troops in carrying out atrocities during the war.
Mr. Motiur Rahman Nizami got death penalty for 3 charges, and in this occasion, in the review petition which has been heard, the review was on the issue of whether the death penalty would be restored or will be changed. But however, the appellate division in the review petition, they have rejected the petition. Therefore, the death penalty is kept for Mr. Motiur Rahman Nizami. Now it is time for all of us to wait when the execution takes place.
Now, sporadic violence continued in Syria even as a temporary 48-hour ceasefire came into effect in violence at Aleppo on Thursday. The Syrian army agreed to abide by the US-Russia brokered ceasefire deal, which also includes Aleppo. Meanwhile, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said his country will accept nothing less than a final victory over the foreign-backed militants and the terrorists in Aleppo and all across Syria.
Relative calm prevailed in the Syrian city of Aleppo on Thursday after government forces agreed to abide by a 2-day ceasefire brokered by the US and Russia. On Wednesday, Washington and Moscow agreed to work with Syria's warring parties to extend a shaky truce to Aleppo, which has seen more than 280 civilians killed in fighting since 22nd of April this year.
We expect all the parties to the cessation of hostilities to fully abide by the renewed cessation in Aleppo. That means the regime and the opposition alike. And we also expect them to live by the cessation throughout the country.
Despite a few cases of violence in the outskirts of Aleppo and other parts of Syria, residents returned to the streets as the 48-hour ceasefire took effect.
السكان كافة أطفال ونساء وشيوخ إلى قراهم إلى بلدهم إلى حاضنة هذا الوطن.
The United Nations also welcomed the temporary truce and urged the parties to abide by the ceasefire immediately and comprehensively. At a special session of the Security Council convened to discuss the situation in Aleppo, the UN termed attacks on hospitals and neighborhoods in the city as war crimes and asked the Council to consider referring the case to the International Criminal Court.
Let me be absolutely clear once again. Intentional and direct attacks on hospitals are war crimes. In order to be credible, the next round of negotiations should be supported by tangible progress on the ground in terms of a consolidated cessation of hostilities and increased humanitarian access.
Meanwhile, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said his country will accept nothing less than final victory over the foreign-backed militants in Aleppo as well as across Syria. In a telegram sent to Russian President Vladimir Putin, Assad thanked Moscow for its military support and said the army would not accept less than crushing the aggression in its fight against the rebels. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international news now and Global Buzz. Australia's Indian origin Islamic State recruiter Neil Prakash was killed in a US military airstrike in Iraq. Melbourne-born Prakash, who was linked to several Australia-based attack plans, was killed in an airstrike in Mosul on the 29th of April. Foreign ministers and military leaders of Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines met on Thursday to agree on actions against the Abu Sayyaf extremist group. The decision was made following a series of kidnapping by Abu Sayyaf rebels in South Philippines. The rebel group carries out frequent kidnappings for ransoms that finances its activities. China kicked off military exercises in the South China Sea, East Indian Ocean and West Pacific involving advanced warships, helicopters and special warfare soldiers. 3 naval ships of China's Nanhai fleet left a naval port in Sanya, Hainan province on Wednesday. Tensions are mounting along the Israel-Gaza border on Wednesday due to at least 4 cross-border fire exchanges over the day. Israeli tanks fired several artillery shells into the Palestinian enclave following a rocket fire by Gaza militants towards military targets on the border. Alberta in Canada declared a state of emergency on Wednesday as wildfires torched 1,600 homes and other buildings in Canada's main oil sands city of Fort McMurray. No injuries or fire-related fatalities have been reported. All commercial flights in and out of Fort McMurray have been suspended. Time now for all the sports action and sports beat. Rajya Sabha members today demanded that hockey wizard Major Dhyan Chand to be conferred with the Bharat Ratna, the country's highest civilian honour. Chandrapal Singh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party raised the issue during CROR. Major Dhyan Chand, who won 3 Olympic gold medals in hockey for India between 1928 and 1936, has still not been given the Bharat Ratna. The Indian cricket team has been displaced from the top of the latest ICC T20 rankings and also dropped to 4th in the one-day charts. India are now 2nd in the T20 ranking behind New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand have retained top 2 positions in the one-dayers, while South Africa has climbed to the 3rd spot. Racing ace Arman Ibrahim will make his debut in the GT Asia Championship. The 26-year-old from Chennai will kickstart his campaign with the first round of the GT Asia Series in Korea, driving a Lamborghini Gallardo GT3, followed by the season opener of the Super Torpedo in Shanghai, China, on the 20th and 22nd of May. Novak Djokovic beat Croatian teenager Borna Coric 6-2, 6-4 to go through to the 3rd round of the Madrid Open. Djokovic, who had not played in Madrid since 2013, served 4 double faults but relied on his return to overpower Coric. Real Madrid reached their 14th European Cup final and ended Manchester City's hopes of a maiden title after securing a 1-0 victory in their second leg of their Champions League match. Fernando's own goal turned out to be the decider after the first leg ended in a goalless draw. Real and Atletico will meet in Milan for the Champions League final on the 28th of May. Well, that's news tonight. Good night.